What is up? I am Eric Acosta, and welcome to episode 20 of dotEXE, a saving content podcast. With me today is my co-host, Saving Content's own Ed Acosta.
It is me, Ed Acosta.
Also joining today is one of my spawns, Kegan Acosta.
Hello.
Hello, Kegan.
Very to the point.
Right. Very like,
Not,
that's what I'm going to say. Hello.
not my first time.
No,
Okay.
it is not.
First time, long time?
Long time. Wait. Never
Nope.
mind. I had something and then I lost
that is a phrase people, when they're writing in or calling in to like a show for the first time, they're like, yeah, I'm first time caller, long time listener. So first time, long time.
Yes.
I mean, that is a thing. Like, that's not a thing in podcast live streams and stuff, right?
Live streams, not so much. Podcasting and your radio call shows and like your TV, like set shows where they're just a bunch of people talking, kind of like The View type of thing.
Man, like, I mean, how
When they take audience, remarks, or like a Dear Abby type of thing,
right?
Long time reader, first time writer.
Well, I'm like his age. There's not a whole lot of things that he watches that would have that or consumes that would have that statement.
Mainly
sense.
because it's instant.
Right.
Like if you're in a chat room, you can just type something in.
Right.
I also
Or-
don't watch live streams.
Do what?
I also don't watch a lot of live streams in the first place. So
Oh,
I can't
okay.
really.
Touche. Well, we'll go ahead and do a catch up here. And since Kegan, you are our guest today, what have you been doing?
I have been pretty much doing what I've been doing most days, just messing around with games on Roblox. So
Okay.
I've been,
Roblox.
Now you're the Roblox expert here, so you may have to educate us on some of this stuff.
Yes.
so I've been playing these experiences that are based off of other games, typically.
So just to start out, what are experiences?
So they're what they used to call the games that Roblox has that people make, but I don't know if there's any extra implications to it. But they changed them calling games to experiences for some reason.
So let me get it boiled down here. And you tell me if I'm right. Roblox is basically a create your own gaming environment. They have some pre-made stuff, but it's mostly downloading games that are made by the community.
So you don't download it. You download Roblox or go to the website.
I guess when I
And
say
just-
download, I mean you are accessing games made by the community. Whether or not it is a download to your computer or it is streamed in from a server somewhere, you are accessing someone else's content, correct?
Yes, that is
Okay.
the basis.
So kind of like a Little Big Planet, but in a more open platform.
Yeah.
Basically.
All right,
So
well,
you've been playing a lot of Roblox.
yeah, what kind of experiences? That's what you call it, right? Experiences?
Yeah, they're called experiences, but I'm probably going to call them games. So who knows?
Okay, well, I mean, at least we know they're interchangeable in this sense.
Yes.
So what have you been doing in Roblox? Like what are those experience/games?
So I've been playing a lot of the musical kind of games, like the I'd say new, but like technically it's not new, but like Friday Night Funkin. I've been playing a lot of those.
So would you call those
So-
like a rrhythm-based game then? Kind of like a DDR?
But with your fingers.
DDR with your fingers, basically. Yeah.
So what about that is would so here you go. You play that. Would you play a DDR?
I've always been interested in trying one, but most of the places we've gone to that would have that kind of stuff we haven't seen that I remember.
DDR
So-
machines are a little harder to find these days, or at
Yeah.
least name brand DDR machines.
Right.
you might find some of the I guess you could say third party, but the not knockoff, but because they're their own thing, but they're the ones that have the arrows on the diagonals instead of your
instead of the plus
standard directions,
up, down, left, right. Yeah.
But occasionally you find a DDR machine. At one point in time, we had the mats.
Yes, we had 2 mats. I think actually one mat is still at the other house.
I believe it. I believe it is more than 1 mat. I believe they are 2 High School Musical mats.
Oh, is it? Oh, you know, it might be.
I think so.
They might be. I don't know. I don't know how that would. We would even get those to connect to anything and work.
Yeah.
I believe they are USB. So
are they?
If someone has written a driver out there for it, I'm sure you could get it to work for the PC.
That'd be pretty cool.
We might have to check that out.
I know, right?
So other than fake DDR, what or finger DDR, there you go. FDDR. What else have you been playing on there? Do you have anything else?
I've been playing a lot of tower defense, where you kind of just place something, let it go for like maybe a wave or 2, then you either upgrade or sit around and do nothing for forever.
Yeah, that was real popular. Tower defense stuff is real popular in like
I
2000s.
enjoy tower defense.
Yeah.
What I find interesting seeing you play some of those, Mr. Kegan, is that so you're able to move around in third person and place things down. It's a slightly different experience than like the tower defense of yore, where you've either got predetermined spots or you're just touching the location you want to build your item at.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it became very easy for mobile because it was tapping, where you wanted to place it. Hence why a lot of mobile games were tower defenses.
Is there a specific tower defense experience that you've been playing?
If I really had to go like extremely like precision specific, it would be arena tower defense, which back in my day, it was called women tower defense because most of the towers were female. But now it's just in general.
I'm glad they changed it.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was playing back then, but
back then. So what is back in your day? At the ripe old age of 15, what is back in your day? Was that when you were a fetus? I don't.
Well, it really isn't really that far back. It's probably like maybe 5-7 years ago. So still pretty new.
So the prime. Okay.
Yeah. Or if anything, it's probably when we moved here, when it was like 2 years ago, 3. So
right.
if anything, it's not very long ago.
So it wasn't really back in the day.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that because it was funny.
Hey, for him, it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Relatively so, I guess. Theoretically, it is. 7 would be half his life, right?
Right.
It felt like a really long time since I first heard that title. So
back in my day, I had to play tower defense with women towers. Yes. So what else? Non-gender specific, I guess.
So I did also play another very rising horror game called Apeirophobia.
I was going to ask you, how do you pronounce that?
Yeah, I was like processing, but it's just about like finally finishing all the levels that they've made. So there's 10 levels that you have to kind of go through, and every level has basically a different monster. Level 1 has like just it's based off the Backrooms videos. If you are familiar with those.
I am not, but
yeah,
this is the game that you showed the video to me of you and your friend playing, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's the one.
So, I'm pretty sure you know what this game is. So the game you're playing it is very much a 1-to-1 almost. Well, we'll say
Homage.
a 0.9 to 1 recreation of something like Slender Man.
Oh,
I think so. I haven't.
The only difference is
Like-
that you're not in the woods.
It's like
you're in the back rooms.
The part I saw, he was like in a sewer system, a stylized sewer system with there's water and puddles and everything, but it's basically like a catacombs underneath.
yeah. With that section, it's find a bunch of I think 6 valves to open and then go through a door.
Yep.
But
So
most
in
of
Slender
them-
Man, you're finding, I believe it was like 8 pages to the story.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, like most of the levels have required you going to an area and or clipping into the backgrounds itself and having to find something. And with most of the levels, it's finding a bunch of things to then open a door, except for the
Right.
first level.
And then that gets you to the next level. Yeah.
Most of the levels have some sort of creature in it that'll kill you,
Mm-hmm.
but I think like third level or something. But there are like 2 levels that don't have any monsters in them, since it's just kind of feels more plot focused, if anything.
Oh, so
Wow.
how do you progress the story in there? Are you still collecting items to open up the, quote unquote door to get to the next level, or?
With those levels, it's just kind of walking through a big area and then ending up somewhere to the next level.
So there's
So
no
it's
collection
kinda
of
just-
items.
Yeah, you're just kind of
Okay,
walking
so-
around.
So you're just
So it's
finding
kinda-
the path.
It's kind of like a walk and talk.
Yeah, well, it's funny. There's no talking except for between levels where there's cutscenes. That's all the
Okay.
talking.
Oh, there's cutscenes in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Most of the cutscenes are pretty much recreations of the videos.
So what I find
Uh.
interesting is the video that I saw you and your friend do. It looked enough like Roblox. I was like, oh, is this in Roblox? But it also looked it looked Unity enough to be like, did someone program this on their own?
I mean,
It straddled that line to me where it's like, oh, this is kind of like Uncanny Valley for non-Roblox.
I mean,
games.
the people have gotten pretty good with the coding and like art.
Mhm.
I say art, but like
It's
3D
art.
models. But
Yeah.
people have gotten really good. So there are some amazing games on Roblox that's like, I would never be able to make this.
I never
I
say
wouldn't
never.
say never. Yeah.
It's all about practice. Practice and
I-
time.
It would take at least 1,000 years of me just punching the keyboard like a monkey.
Without, okay, sure. If you hadn't read up or taught yourself anything,
Yeah.
maybe a couple 100,000 years to write the first line of code or something. Sure, I get it.
Right. But I mean, that's also like the people that are coding games currently, like that coded the Horizon Forbidden West game. I guarantee if you asked them when they were 15, they probably wouldn't say, hey, you think you can make this game? They'd be like, what are you, crazy? Like, it's all about practice, time, and investment and what you put into it.
Yeah, and with that example, teamwork. They
Yeah.
have a bunch of other people to help them.
Right. It's not just one person.
That's why I think that's part of the reason why they have groups for
Yeah.
Roblox, so you
Yes.
can like cooperate.
Or
Oh,
modding
yeah.
groups, and that way it's get ideas, and the intent is to share constructive feedback. That's the intent.
Yeah.
Welcome to our TED Talk. Kegan, you can do what you want to do.
Right.
Obligatory parental statement of the day.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm done.
You can be anything you want.
Just imagine.
Imagination.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Like, I literally did the hand movement and everything.
I think has that become just like not vernacular? What is it called? In the
Well known.
yeah, well known, but like there's another word for it, but it's just like
Meme.
No, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, there's a scientific, more not dumb sounding name for it.
Mimi.
I mean, technically, the scientific name would be meme, right?
No.
It's just been co-opted because meme. Go look up the word meme in a dictionary, and it basically means exactly what we're talking about.
Okay. An element of a culture or system of behavior that it may not be considered to be passed from one individual to another by non-genetic means, especially imitation.
Ta-da.
That is
Okay.
I just looked that up.
But that is not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about a socially accepted thing. Memes can be, but it's not derivative
Not
to
normal.
that. So like there's a term, I'm pretty sure it starts with a V, but that specifically means like, socially it is passed through.
With a V?
I swear it was not vernacular,
I've-
but like I can't think of it. And I don't even know where I would start to did that description.
I have no idea.
I'll probably just I'll think of it later and just shout it out within the podcast. So,
Just put like a little trademark at the end.
yeah, trademark.
TM.
Damn. Other than that, what else? Do you have anything else?
Wait, like specifically on Roblox or just in general still?
No, just
Just in general.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Soundfall. I say a little
Oh,
bit,
yes.
but I've not like first time since
Since
the review.
Oh,
That's
that's a long pause.
I know. Oh, I think what happened was somebody had said something and I didn't hear what he said, and then it was quiet. So I think he said something.
I said something along the lines of like the
I'm going to leave that long
Kinda
pause
waiting.
in just to
Yes,
be.
because now it is it's canon and funny.
it's canon.
Podcast canon.
Okay, so you've been playing
the Lord.
Soundfall.
I got to play a bunch of that. It's a pretty long game in my opinion.
Uh-huh.
So since I kind of felt like I kind of got a couple days, and since I had a bunch of stuff going on over the weekend and whatnot,
Right.
I felt like I really only had like a couple days worth. But
But you
I was able to get a pretty good ways into it.
well,
So-
good. And so you wrote a review on it. It's up on the site, so everybody go and give that a read.
Shameless plug.
So what did you? Not shameless, but a plug.
Yeah, it's an outlet.
But what did you think of it? Like, basically, why don't you go ahead and summarize your review for all our listeners?
Yeah.
10 out of 10 stars. We play again.
That was not a summary. That was a statement.
Plus, we only do 5.
Well, it's maxed. So either way.
So explain what is
Yeah.
the
So
game
what
for
do you
people
do
who
in
have not played it?
Soundfall?
So
Yeah.
it's basically quite literally a sound game where it's more of a rhythm game than Friday Night Funkin', because
Okay.
instead of sound or just like people singing, you're actually using stuff to the beat of the song. So it's a rhythm game.
Okay, it's a rhythm game, but when you're comparing it to Friday Night Funkin', so is it a rhythm game in the regards of just doing like button combos, or is it a rhythm game that is also something else, or is it like a rhythm platformer per se? A rhythm something.
It's less like DDR and those kind of games, and more like Crypt of the Necromancer, where
Okay, see, that's a good
almost-
example. Yeah.
almost every action is related to when you do it on the beat. Like
So,
moving
mhm.
and just kind of walking around is basically it. Can be done just kind of whatever. Unlike Crypt of the Necromancer, where you have to do absolutely everything to the beat.
Right. Which if you don't have good rhythm, that can be a little rough.
Yeah,
Because I
very
ain't got
difficult.
rhythm.
But so in Soundfall, you can move freely,
Yeah.
but what it's the attacks and I assume the dodging that are required for you to be on beat.
Yeah, basically. So, because if you do it off beat, it'll still do the action. It's just garbage.
It won't be powerful.
Yeah, like dashing or dodging. If you do it on beat, basically, gives you invincibility. If you
It
don't do it on
benefits
beat, then-
you to be doing everything on beat.
Yes. And with the dodging, is kind of you have to be on beat. Since I didn't think to mention this actually, but there are like these travel things where you have to dash into them. But if you don't do it on beat, it will not activate the thing to bring you to wherever it's going.
Oh.
So you can't do the game. You cannot play the game unless you are able to do it on beat.
Okay. So there's dodging. Is there like anything like a parry system, or is it just dodge?
Yeah, I think it's just dodge. Right, remember? Yeah, it's just dodge.
Okay.
So it's bullet hell mixed with rhythm game.
Oh, okay.
Like, because there was one level for a time that, like, I could not get past. It was, like, 310, basically. And it kept spawning more and more guys. And it's like, could you please stop? I cannot think of a way to clear them all out. And it doesn't help that I'm using the character that has a bow and arrow that's shooting one.
Okay.
Like, I have 3 characters by this point.
Right.
Two of them have, like, specials that are wide-reaching. The one I'm using is a single target. So I think that's part of my problem.
Okay. Well, I assume they have different characters in there for different types of play styles.
Yeah.
So if you're going with the archer, you're only doing one at a time unless they have a special where they can hit multiple targets. Are you able to do like co-op in the game?
Yes, you are able to do co-op. When we first did get the chance to play, I did actually have my sister join in for a little bit. So.
Yep.
Oh, cool. So it's couch co-op also.
Yeah, they seem to enjoy it. You guys played it for about almost an hour and a half, 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Close to it.
Longer than my day-to-day routine.
But see, okay, so that works out. So if one of y'all were the archer, you could sit back and just snipe people while someone who's like, we'll say a heavy or like a barbarian type is up front trying to damage a tank.
Well,
Trunk.
But there is a character that when you do use your special and like keep holding the button, it will make a shield in front of her. So that would work. But most of the characters have the same health, depending on the armor and like weapons you use, since it does have the like Diablo kind of mechanic of RPGs where you have to pick up items and whatnot. So
all right, so there's like a lot of loot.
Yeah, a lot of loot.
That's cool. Well,
do you keep that loot, or is it like a rogue where it's on your own, that only on that game that run through?
It is not like a rogue like or anything. You get an item and then you compare it to what you have, and if it's better, you swap it most likely.
Okay.
And then if it's worth keeping, you'll keep it, or you can dismantle it.
Okay, so it's like a Diablo,
yeah,
Destiny, that kind of thing. Okay,
cool.
Like those kind of games.
That's cool. So what else have you been doing?
I've also been attempting to do some Friday Night Funkin modding.
Okay.
What does that entail?
So that basically just, in this sense, it just means changing the sprites or like animations.
Okay.
It's not 3D, it's 2D. And then attempting to add a song in, and then failing horribly.
Hey, when it comes to modding, it's a bunch of trial and error.
I was gonna say, when it comes to modding, most likely any modder or anyone that does really gaming in general has probably failed 100 times more than they've succeeded.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how many times when I was doing Need for Speed mods, how many times I'd go and mess with a model of a car, import it back into the game for it to not work, or for like the texture map to be off, and then having to go figure out what the heck did I just do and try to fix it. Hours and upon hours to get something that looked okay in the
usable,
end.
Right?
So I'm sure, the Friday Night Funkin' mod is very similar in that regard. being that it's also a lot of texture mapping, it sounds like.
My main problem is that I don't have Adobe Animate, so that doesn't work. I have to find the sprite I want to change.
Uh-huh.
I have to open it in Paint 3D. Then I go to Scratch, which, by the way, is a coding website, which I learned how to use at school.
Cool.
Make the sprites in that, and then change them to a bitmap, because they start off as the web browser thing, I don't know what it's called. Swap it to a bitmap, export it, then import it into the sprite sheet, and then make sure it fits the size, because there have been times where I've had to go back to Scratch and actually change the 7 sprites.
Yeah.
To fit in a very specific
the
spot.
canvas size?
Well, no, it's not canvas size, it's like an invisible chunk of one sprite, and the sprite I'm using is like too big or too tall.
Right. Well, so you have a
but-
canvas, or you have a pixel resolution that you have to stay in.
Yeah, you gotta
I still
take the image that you're working on and resize it to fit within the boundaries of what the game is using.
So
Right.
far, I have not so far run into the issue of having to change the size, like the actual size of every single sprite. It's just
What?
been one set of sprites. So, very lucky with that.
I mean, it sounds like the Adobe Character Animate, what it's doing is just making that portion easier, where you can move the 3D or 2D character around and basically export in frames that are still pictures. Right?
I would bet he could probably use Unreal to do some of that.
Because all you're doing is just taking the animation, the 2 keyframes, playing that back, and having whatever program exporting it into individual images. And depending on what the frame rate is of the game, or what you're modding, is how many images need to be put into that file.
Into that file, right? How many
That's Unreal.
stills? What?
Does that sound like the way it's supposed to be done?
That sounds pretty unreal.
Haha.
You holding on to that joke?
Yeah,
Haha.
I was waiting.
The apple does not fall from the tree.
You far I feel for it.
I said what I said.
You got there.
I trip on my words all the time.
Oh man, well that's why. See, just like your room, that's why you got to clean them up.
Hi-yo.
Dirty words.
I feel
You're
assaulted.
leaving words all over the floor, tripping on them.
Oh man, I just tripped over a canvas.
Oh no, not another hot dog.
Wait, what? Why do you just have hot dogs sitting in your brain?
I always have
Because hot
in my
dogs are
brain.
delicious.
Delicious.
Sorry. I'm not a big fan of hot dogs.
What? Wait.
What?
Oh, okay.
It
So
depends on the day most of the time, but like usually it's
No.
I'm not feeling it.
no. A hot dog is never a hot dog is one of those items where it's like, hey, I'm kind of hungry. I don't know what to eat. We have hot dogs. Okay. There's no saying no to a hot dog.
Now wait a minute.
I'm not gonna say no to a hot dog, but like if I had the choice between a hot dog or something else, I would probably eat the something else.
Okay, that
No.
I get. That I get.
Now wait a minute. Hold up. It also depends on the hot dog. Because like if you were to say, hey, I've got a bunch of Esque, or I've got a bunch of
Escargot.
not
Mm.
escargot.
No.
I've got a bunch of Nathan's
Escargot.
dogs or something, or like Costco dogs. Yeah, I'm gonna jump at the chance to eat any of those. But if you say, hey, I just made some Bar S hot dogs, yeah, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna go with like some noodles or something.
Throw some kale.
No.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take the kale.
No. No.
Have you had a Bar S hot dog? That's hot dogs you give a dog.
No idea. I just eat the. I just
it's
eat the
not
hot dog.
kale. Is the key to that one. It's not kale. There's a reason why kale rhymes a very specific thing. Hail.
It's stale.
There's also a reason why Bar S hot dogs are like super cheap because they're
Never heard
super
of
bad.
I've literally
Neither
never
have
heard
I.
of them. But I can guarantee you I'd like them better than kale.
I'm sure you've seen the package in stores.
Maybe? How does it spelled?
You know, that's you keep talking. I'm going to look for it.
Bares. Okay.
Nope, that's not
See? I don't know.
right.
No, it is bar space S.
Oh,
The
bar
letter S or
space
ES?
S. Bar S food. Well, that's
Just-
specifically food. So let me type in hot dog.
No, yeah, you have to type in hot dog. It's a nice red package.
Oh, those ones? Those are not bad at all. You freaking
what are you talking
nuts.
about? Those are the worst hot dogs. that you
Those
can-
are not bad.
Wait,
They-
let me.
They are not top notch. They are not Nathan's. They're not
They
even Oscar
are-
Mayer, but they are not bad.
They are mush in a hot dog case.
I don't.
What
I
else?
don't
What else is a
remember
hot dog? Mush.
Delicious.
Hamburger. Cheeseburger.
what?
I don't
What? You're off the reservation,
a
here,
hot dog
child.
is a hamburger, but a hamburger isn't a hot dog.
We're talking about 2 + 2 = 4, and he's over here like bacon.
I don't even. Well, I mean, it's kind of adjacent, but you're talking about other grillable items, not the grillable item we're looking at.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I've had them or not. That's the thing.
I've had them.
You probably wouldn't because you know because you didn't buy them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Right. And typically the only type of hot dogs that usually pass through our doors are Nathan's, and then every once in a while Oscar Mayer wiener.
Oscar Mayers aren't
Is it
bad.
Oscar Mayer?
I don't
No,
know.
ballpark. I'm sorry, ballpark.
Ballparks aren't bad. SK, if you can find them, they're good.
I've never heard of SK.
That's the one they serve at Camden Yards.
I've been to Camden Yards like twice.
Well,
No,
it's
once.
the Orioles hot dog. That's the best way to put it.
What?
They're
Oreo?
good. Orioles, the
Orioles.
baseball team.
I don't know what that means.
The baseball team. Do I need to make it any clearer? They're
What?
birds.
He has no idea. He doesn't watch
I
it or
don't-
pay any attention to baseball.
Sports. Tennis is really the only sport that I might pay attention to. I say might, but like
You know what an Oriole is, though, right?
I can assume it's a kind of bird.
It's a bird.
Okay.
It's an orange and black bird.
It's not a plane.
It is not a plane.
Keegan. Wait. You learn state flags and state plants and trees and birds, right? In school?
The silence is
Is
worrying.
shocking.
Halfway.
What does halfway mean?
we learned a couple, but like for the state that we'd be living in at the time.
Okay.
What about an adjoining state?
I know.
Or
Okay,
like the
well-
one closest to your nation's capital?
Well, let's ask. Okay. So, what do you know what Maryland's state bird is?
No.
Okay. Do you know what West Virginia's state bird is?
Also no.
Okay, I don't even know that one. Do you know what Virginia's state bird is?
Take that
That's
as a
all
no.
I feel like that sounds familiar, but no.
Okay. Eric, do you know what West Virginia's is? I
Northern
don't.
Cardinal.
Okay, so it's the same basically as Virginia. Virginia is also
Yeah,
the cardinal.
I think it's a cardinal. I don't think it's a northern though. But yeah.
Maryland is an Oriole.
The Baltimore Oriole.
Baltimore.
Hey, at
No.
least he didn't say Raven.
Well, that's true.
That's like up. It's up there in the top half of the world or something.
Well,
Nevermore.
he would have to know anything about football to get that reference. Keegan,
Well,
there's
I know there is a team, but like
okay, all right. Well, just making sure. Yeah, some sort of acknowledgement of.
I'm not like living under a rock situation, but I'm not like
No.
yelling at my screen because someone barely missed the goal by 2 feet or something.
I'm gonna stop you before you embarrass yourself.
I mean, I've seen you yell at your computer because you got killed after you've shot someone. So like, it's the same thing.
I guess
It's
for
like
the different
relatable.
reasons.
It's the same thing. Just think of it that way. The person that's yelling at their TV screen because they missed a 3-pointer is that same thing of like, you shot somebody in the head and they didn't die, but you got one-shotted. Like it's that same feeling.
That feels more like the younger me.
as much as some people don't want to admit it, sports and video games are very much a parallel line.
Yes, so close.
Like, you got people who are playing like fantasy sports. What they're really playing is D&D.
Well, there was actually an article a while ago, a few years ago, that related football. The actual game of football is just D&D strategy.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It was a whole like dissertation, like a book. And, looking at it, I was like, yeah, I mean, just think about it. It's all done in stages. It's all done in, a play field of 100 yards. And you're just trying to work within these bounds to get from point A to point B and C and D and all that stuff. The only difference is there is a physical component of it that isn't in D&D. That's it.
I mean, I guess one perk of doing fantasy football instead of D&D is that you don't have to deal with like schedules and hoping that.
Oh no! No, I've never played any fantasy football stuff, but knowing the people who do, there's schedules. There are definitely schedules,
big time schedules. Because you're not fantasy football. Most fantasy football, if you're into it, like not just like a side thing, but like very into fantasy football. You've got like draft schedules. You have to be there at this time. You have to be allotted for X amount of hours to get to pick your team. And then after having your team, you only have a certain amount of days before you can put your team's roster up for that. These are the guys that are going to play today's game. And then you have until week 6, I guess it would mimic the football season till you do any kind of trading or not trading. Oh shoot! Now I can't remember. It's called free agency stuff. So
yeah, free. I mean, it's still technically trading.
Yeah, well,
you're just trading it to the free agency,
right? So, like, there is in fantasy football, there's actually a lot of scheduling.
Yeah. Again, fantasy football very much an RPG.
I mean,
in every sense.
Yeah, I like in fantasy football 100% to like a JRPG.
You could make a actual tabletop football game or a turn-based football game into an RPG. It would probably be very well done.
I think there is a JRPG that is about soccer.
Roll your D20 to see if you get a tackle.
I lost you at draft.
Okay. What about you, Eric? What have you been playing? Let's get us off this D&D roller coaster.
I don't know how we got here, but
continue.
I know how.
So, what have I been doing? Essentially, still dance recital video editing. It's kind of
going good.
Up. Yeah, I've gotten I'm almost done. I got like 12 more dances for show 2. And then I got to go back and get show 1 completed. And then add in all of the middle parts and prettying it up and then rendering it out and delivering it.
The fun part.
Yeah. So we're not, I would say maybe another week-ish of that. Because, I'm not doing it during work.
The final renders are always the most nerve-wracking for me because I render it out and it's like, wait, did I do everything I needed to?
Yep. And you're like,
and then you watch through it and it's like, oh,
I missed that. How big of a miss is that?
Like the most recent video I did, it was 55 minutes long, and the last not even minute, I had clicked the layer off. And it happened to be on that layer. I'm like, why isn't there? Yeah. So I had to go turn that back on and re-render a 55-minute project again.
So this is how you edit?
What?
What's that?
So this is how you edit stuff?
Yes.
Oh my.
Unfortunately, this is part of the editing process.
Yes.
It starts with the imagination part, it's like, yeah, this is going to be great. And then putting everything down onto your timeline. And it's like, this is taking forever.
This is not so great.
And then there's a bunch of in-between steps where you're just throwing your hands up in the air like, I give up.
That just sounds like me trying to do anything when it comes to like modding.
I mean, that is,
yeah.
Any creative process requires a bunch of just banging your head against the wall.
Right. Because usually you know what you want at the end.
Uh-huh.
But it's the, how do I get it?
Uh-huh. How do I get here?
How make it?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
it's no different than like me in engineering. I mean, I know the end goal. I have to figure out and engineer how I'm going to get to said end goal. It's just, it's not technically creative. It's in a different space.
You mean Google can't do that for you?
Google can't do anything when it comes to engineering.
Google
Thank you very
can't
much.
math.
Okay, Google, engineer for me, please.
Google
I'm sorry,
can't
I cannot
science.
do that.
Sorry, what did you say?
I did not understand that statement.
Apparently, Google used to tell you.
Play it in Kanto.
From Spotify.
I did not ask that.
Play the movie.
Other than that, I've been watching Jeremy Dooley. I've watched Jeremy Dooley a lot. Play Assassin's Creed. He actually he finished Batman.
So now he's on to Assassin.
Batman.
Yes, he's going to do Assassin's Creed, Ezio Trilogy, and 3, and up to Black Flag. Which, albeit, is probably the best section of the series, honestly.
So is he going to be doing the console version of Liberation?
He did not say anything about Liberation.
Because technically that's part of
That
3.
Is part of 3, you're right.
But released on mobile.
Vita.
Not mobile, but was it Vita or was it PSP?
Vita.
Was it Vita?
I never owned a I owned a PSP Go, but it was
Not
never
Xbox.
on the. I don't believe it was on the PSP Go because it was actually a Vita. It had to been a Vita because I got Des a white Vita, and she wanted that game.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, it came with that game.
All right, it was white Vita then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they in the remastered collection they released a little while back. The game came with Liberation remastered as well.
Right. Well, also, wasn't there like the Assassin's Creed Chronicles?
Yeah.
That was in that time frame.
So Chronicles was Russian, Chinese, and
Something
I
else,
believe Indian.
That sounds right.
3 of the 7 world wonders.
Like not not like the Prince of Persia.
It was that 2D-esque scrolling.
Yeah, it was kind of
feel.
in that same vein where it was 2D like Prince of Persia, but not quite.
I kind of likened it to oh shoot, what is that light game that Scott played a long while ago?
Light.
Dang, I can't remember. It was about like hiding in the shadows. No, I can't remember it. I shouldn't have brought it up because now it's gonna bug me. But it was a 2D kind of platforming-esque game with 3D elements because you can go in and out. I think in this, like, there was the foreground and the background or something like that.
Limbo?
Maybe Limbo? Was it Limbo? No, Limbo.
Limbo was in, but I don't think you go foreground, background,
No.
but it was black and white and you could hide from things in the shadows.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Limbo. I can't remember. The name had light in it or something. I mean, it was a long time. It was actually he talked about it on one of our first forays into podcasting.
I could probably go look up the old show notes and see if there's mention in there.
Somewhere there.
Some of that.
It's in the past.
It certainly is in the past. But yeah, he didn't say anything about Liberation. He did specify specifically one in the Ezio trilogy the Assassin's Creed 3 with Connor and Black Flag. So I'm excited for those. I'm a big Assassin's Creed guy. Those like I said, are the ones that like I like the most. I'm not a fan of Ezio.
Yeah, the Ezio trilogy has never been my
I didn't
most
mind
favorite.
See, I didn't mind the game. Like
the games were okay.
Of the game. I hated Ezio and his story because he's such a whiny little rich brat.
He's a playboy.
Well, yeah, he just I dislike him because he's whiny. He just complains about everything. And then
they did this
doesn't really
hard
learn a
shift.
lesson.
Then they did this hard shift to Connor, and I like Connor, but nobody else did.
I didn't mind Connor. He was a little flat, but I think what was detrimental to that was the fact that you played as Hatham.
Yeah.
The beginning, and he had a much more robust personality.
Well, he was very, very much in the same vein as like a Ezio.
Yes. So you kind of got that feel, and then all of a sudden, hard shift, and you're like, oh no, I'm
which
this
I love
dude.
that hard shift. That was great.
Right. See, Connor reminded me more of an Altair, but less studious, right? Like he didn't.
Well,
I don't think he progressed enough as a character by the end of the game to be like Altair, who is like, okay, he was a jerk and didn't do what he should have done. Didn't do his studies or whatever. But by the end of the game, he had become more part of the creed. And
I
more serious, I guess you could say. Whereas Connor didn't really get that story arc.
I think the other thing that really hampered 3 was they totally botched the ending to that story by killing off, the lead character.
Who?
That was weird.
Who?
Well, you haven't played it.
It would help if I played it.
But now, here's the thing. You have it. I bought them. I spent 80 freaking bucks on them for you to play. And how far in the first one have you played? Right.
Yeah. a very little.
Yeah, I think you were maybe an hour in.
I think you would like those, buddy.
I think he would too, but I think the key to that is he wants the new ones.
You got to work your way up.
I already told him he's not getting the new ones until he plays the old ones. Because you won't understand the story.
Well, yeah.
Half the
as
time
convoluted as that story can get.
Yes, but it's not Metal Gear.
It is not Metal Gear.
I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Indeed. Metal Gear?
Snake?
Huh?
Snake!
Mission failed.
So yeah, Assassin's Creed, watching that. Did play a little bit of Among Us the other day.
Yeah, that was fun.
Among Us.
Among Us.
So that was me, Ed, Kegan. No, not Kegan. I'm sorry. Kegan did not play.
Well,
with
he
us.
did. He did hop in later.
A little bit.
With me, he did not play with me.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Because by the time you hopped in, you hopped in for me because I had to go make dinner. I had to be the adult.
You say that like
sounds,
the new thing.
Sounds a little sus.
Sus. Genevieve, her 2 friends, and Keegan's friend, and our 2 cousins eventually played. I only got to play with Taylor. I didn't get to play with Sarah. But
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a big group of like. It was. Oh, and I'm sorry, Des plays too. Yes.
Yes, she was in there too, and she got to be the imposter like 20 times.
Literally 20 times. Like we played every round. I was a stupid crewmate except for the last round, and I was so shocked that I was the imposter. I did not know it until about 30 seconds into the game. I was like, "Oh crap, I am it." Because I was just so upset.
And you were caught.
And I was caught because I was excited. I was excited to kill, and I saw someone, and I hit the button, and it was right in front of another person. And I went, I can't defend this.
There was one where I was going to do the airlock thing. Des comes up and kills me, and in the middle of the animation, our one cousin walks in, and I go, "Uh-oh." And then, you can't hear me because we had the proximity chat on.
Yep.
And I could hear them talking. And she was going, what did I just witness? And then Des didn't get voted off.
Right? I think was Taylor, right?
Yeah.
And I think Taylor got like 3 votes. She
reverse
reported it,
logic.
and then she got like 3 votes on her. She's like, "Wait a minute."
That's Among Us for you.
Yeah.
You witness something and then you die for it.
It was too good.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Among Us is I noticed that at least with the people we played, there wasn't a whole lot of vent using. I use the vents a lot. I don't know. I find them fun.
When I finished the tasks one time with the engineer, I just was gonna try to stay in the vent. Then realized you get kicked out after a certain amount of time.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't want you to stay in there.
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yep.
Well, then I just went to security.
That way you can't hide. So if you have an engineer, you can't just hide in an event and not get killed.
It's not hide and seek, guys.
Right? Because I don't think there's even a way to like search the vents in the base game. I think in the roles one, there's a role that allows you to search vents, but not in the base game.
Oh, one other time, and it was Des again. I'm walking down the hallway and I see myself.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, okay. I know who you are.
Oh, okay. It took me a second. That's the shape shifting.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah, so she walks past and goes into a room. I'm like, because we have proximity chat on. She goes, "You didn't see nothing."
It was all a dream.
You saw nothing. It's funny because when we play Among Us, the kids can always tell when me and Des are crewmates if we have the laser thing. Where you shoot the rocks, because me and Des, we cannot help it when we get in there going pew, 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 pew.
Oh, you guys do that too?
Yeah.
The shooting the asteroids. Yep. Pew, 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 pew.
So, but yeah, Among Us, that was fun. That's one of those games where you have to have like 5 or 8 people. Like you have to have more than 5 people to be fun.
A lot.
Yeah, you got to have a group.
And you also have to have a group that's willing to like, talk but not cheat. Like just outright just say this is who it is kind of thing. But it's fun. It was it's a good game. I'm glad it's got popular when it did.
Oh yeah, I mean they were about to release or work
Among
on
Us 2.
Among Us 2.
No, they were working on Among Us 2, yeah.
And then it just like skyrocketed. And
right, so they're like, we're just gonna put it in the first game.
Yeah, we're just gonna.
It'd be a free update. Here you go, guys.
Get another game.
Yeah, they did good. It was a good idea.
Yeah.
The last thing I actually want to talk about is something that I heard about or read about 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago.
Earlier.
What is the next live action Disney movie?
I heard it was Hercules.
That's what I heard too, Hercules. And do you know who's making that live action?
I actually do not.
So the guy who did the Aladdin movie, Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie. Yes. Okay.
Yep, he is doing it, and he has AGBO production company, which is run by Joe and Anthony Russo, the Russo brothers.
Oh, interesting.
They are going to produce it. And there is apparently a first draft already written for the show, for the movie.
Okay. I do wonder what they're going to end up doing with the music.
So that is my biggest worry, because it's been a hit or miss with, in my opinion, with the Disney live actions, where they brought the appropriate music back. I get you can't bring every song back, but Hercules is like
Too many.
without the music, you don't really have much of a movie.
It has a specific style. It has that southern church, gospel sound,
The gospel,
which
truth.
is which is
Kinda.
very strange to begin with because you're doing
it's a Greek,
you're doing Greek gods but with Christian gospel.
right?
It's really odd. So yeah, I could see there being an issue where okay, maybe they don't do that, or the issue would be they don't get people who are very good at it.
Well, and here's the thing is that I'm getting the 50-50 split of like Guy Ritchie is like he did Aladdin, and some people are like he did great. He brought in all the important songs for Aladdin and made tiny tweaks to them. And other people like me went, you brought in songs, but title and some verses, but not really. You didn't capture the charm of the song, so you failed in that.
I think part of that is on Will Smith's shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also one of those things like it was hard. What were you going to do? Mimic Robin Williams? Or
yeah, that's the other thing. It's like
riff
so.
off of, like
a lot of people would want him to be him. Be you, do your own thing. And then there are the other side is like, no, you want to be as close to Robin and honor him that way. So it's one of those weird. It could fall either way, and it could be bad either way. I think what they did was it was a nice middle. It wasn't too far all Will Smith, but it still had enough like Robin Williams genie in it. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was like the best live action Disney one that they've done.
Yeah, see, I disliked it. And I disliked it very specifically because of the songs. I
like the songs.
See, I didn't like the songs not because he wasn't trying to mimic Robin Williams, but because the type of comedy was not the type of comedy that I was expecting out of the genie.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a different genie for sure.
Yeah, it's a different type of genie. It is a more less pop culture reference genie and a more streets like urban type of genie.
Urban
right?
Dictionary?
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking of, Urban Dictionary. But yeah, it just wasn't the pop culture referencey genie that I expected.
I mean, the only thing I think I would have changed with Aladdin would have been some of the energy brought to some of the songs. Like, I think Arabian Nights was well done. I think A Whole New World was well done between the two of them. That was actually a really good cover of that song.
I did like that one. That was not that bad.
But Friend Like Me and Prince Ali, I don't think had enough energy.
It felt
especially Prince Ali.
Yeah,
I like the Prince Ali, but it just didn't have that same oomph. Like,
I think maybe that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the comedy. It's not a like it's not poppy. It's not pop reference to pop culture, and it's not like upbeat. It was very like I almost felt like Bad Boys. Like
he didn't do any of like the real voices.
Yeah,
like Robin Williams did like the children voices, and like when it gets to the little tiger, it's just doing like giving it some life, and Will Smith didn't.
He just
really
said
do
the
that.
word. Yeah, he just said them.
Yeah,
or rapped them.
So I can see in that regard.
I think that's probably where I was going with it. You probably hit the nail on the coffin. Hit the nail on the head with that. Of the energy was very, very different.
But if I were to put them on a not a pedestal, but rank them or something like that, I would say the Aladdin movie and the songs are somewhere near the top, not the very top, but somewhere near the top. Definitely better than something like Beauty and the Beast, where those songs were they messed up somewhere. What was the actress' name?
Emma
I'm
Watson.
drawing a blank. Yeah, Emma Watson. Like, she can sing, but they did something in the editing room.
Someone told her to like sing, but with no emotion.
Yeah, like those songs could have been done very well, and for some reason they didn't.
Yeah,
it was like a choice or something.
I don't know. I mean, granted, in Beauty and the Beast, she was not the most evocative character. Like, she was not like the Belle from the cartoons. She was a much
that's
more
also Emma Watson.
Yes. Well, see, and that's it. She was a much more subdued, but like didn't have as much animation, as much character to her. I felt so. But that's what I wanted to talk about. Ed, what have you been playing?
Actually, not very much at all. So, like, it's just been a busy week for work. Like I said, I had that 55-minute video I've been working on. So by the time I get home, I am exhausted and I just kind of crash. Maybe get on Discord and chat with you guys, and then just crash. It's just it took a lot out of me. So now that that's over, I can probably get back to playing some games again. What we did have time to play though was we did a preview for Best Forklift Operator.
Yes,
nice. I have not played that.
That is a forklift game.
Yeah, it looks fun.
The amount that we played, and it is an early access, so it's not quite released yet.
Right.
It has that nice, like, you can put a podcast on and just do it. You have tasks that you need to go and do, and the forklift actually operates very well. Like, the physics are good.
It's an actual forklift.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, it drives how you expect a forklift to drive. And it was fun. Like, the one level we played, go into the truck with the forklift, pull out the crates, and go stack them. That's literally the game. And it was enjoyable. So, I mean, if you're looking for just a nice little, not menial, but, just something to pass the time, keep your hands busy and to listen to a podcast, I couldn't suggest anything better than something like Best Forklift Operator, which I swear they did that on purpose, because boy, every time I want to say Forklift Simulator, because that's technically what it is.
Fork Simulator?
Forklift Simulator.
I mean, I have a bunch of plastic forks. Did you want any?
I was a fork simulator. You want to simulate a fork?
No, because if you're doing plastic, I want a spork.
Right?
The amount of times I've had to eat yogurt with a spork is insane, and I can never get the last bit of yogurt from school.
Well, that requires ingenuity. That's when you squeeze the bottom up to the top and just lick it out.
No, it's like the cups. Like,
well, you squeeze the cup so the bottom comes to the top.
That's why you have fingers.
Or you could do that and be a barbarian.
Animal. Yep, be an animal. That's what I am.
Well, I'd go with spoon anyway. So,
there you go. What else, Ed?
So in line with like the Disney stuff, I have been watching Miss Marvel, and I'm really liking that show so far. They're only 2 episodes in, but it's really got a really nifty art style that it's kind of got that, high schoolers art notebook doodle thing going on. It was very prominent in the first episode. It's kind of there in the second episode, but they do a lot of neat stuff with like transitions and a lot of neat things with text on the screen and a transition between that and what you're seeing. It's, from a videographer standpoint, it's really cool. The story itself is, it's a origins tale for a superhero. So whether you like those or not is whether you're going to like this or not. But I think it's really well done. people are going to complain about the representation stuff, but I think it's a very nice representation of having a South Asian. It's really neat to see inside that world that I've only known from like, coworkers or friends.
Right.
It's like, oh, so that's what, okay. And that's what it's like in your guys' household. Well, that's not much different than anybody else's, it's really neat. The superpowers thing is something I am curious to see where they go with it, considering right now she doesn't have superpowers that are very similar to what she has in the comics. But according to the directors, she will. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually works out through the next, the next episodes.
So she doesn't currently have like the embiggening stuff?
You are correct.
Oh.
She does not have embiggening powers in the same vein as she does in the comics. I'm not going to spoil anything in case anybody listening would actually want to watch those first 2 episodes, but you've seen her powers in the trailers for what they've shown so far.
Yeah, I saw the first episode. I need to watch the second one, but it's not bad. I don't know. I think I maybe got spoiled with Moon Knight.
I mean, Moon Knight was really good.
I still need to watch both.
They have them coming out on Wednesdays. So this Wednesday morning will be the next one. And in fact, they have Doctor Strange coming out on Disney Plus this Wednesday.
Wait, like a TV show or?
No, the movie.
Oh, Mom?
I forgot about that.
So maybe, and I was checking this too, maybe we do a Disney watch party sometime this week.
Yeah.
Because you can apparently do that on this, let's say you share a Disney account. Not saying that anybody here would be sharing a Disney account, but say like you're sharing a Disney account.
Maybe not.
You can watch party with the same account on different profiles.
Oh. Really? Did not know that.
Interesting.
That's
keep
cool.
that in mind.
Yeah. So that'll be something fun we can do. Watching in a watch party.
Yeah.
So the only other thing that I've kind of been up to is just some food related things. Our mother and Keegan's grandmother sent us a recipe for a homemade Mexican pizza, which, if you think about it, it doesn't really require a recipe per se, but
right,
it was
just a taco.
Yeah.
Pizza.
But it was good to have that as a base, a starting point.
Interesting.
So what I had done is I took ground beef and taco seasoning, threw some chorizo in there, browned that all up, and then because the way Taco Bell does it is they do a tortilla, refried beans, some meat, tortilla, enchilada sauce, and cheese, and like onions and such.
Mm-hmm.
So my version, one, I forgot to get the enchilada sauce, so oops.
Whoopsies.
So what I did instead is I just combined the refried beans into the ground beef. So it was just one whole layer, and that turned out really, really good.
Huh.
And then, the tortillas, toasted them and put the cheese on top and put some onions and tomatoes on there as well. And it worked out really good. It was really tasty, really crispy, and it reheated well. When you reheat it, it's not crispy anymore, but it still tasted very good. And if you're worried about caloric intake, one Mexican pizza came out to about 450 calories, which is not bad for lunch. And it was kind of filling.
Can I try it?
The next time I'm up, I'll make some.
Yay!
I don't think you want.
Close.
I don't think you want the spice level that I did, but we'll make some.
Yeah.
The other thing was, so I follow Popeyes on social media, and they had retweeted this one guy's question. Hey Popeyes, why don't you make like a breakfast chicken sandwich? And the Popeyes account had said, you know, if you try hard enough, any sandwich can be a breakfast sandwich.
Yeah,
I
you're not
didn't see
wrong.
that.
So I had replied to them saying, you know, this sounds like you're making me want to put a fried egg and bacon on a chicken sandwich. And they replied back saying, if you do, take pictures. So I did. so I went out and bought a Popeyes chicken sandwich. After a whole ordeal with getting a Popeyes chicken sandwich a couple days earlier, which that was something else. I had waited almost 40 minutes to not get a chicken sandwich. Waited about 20 minutes in the drive-through line, get to the window, tell them my order because I'd done it through the app and I had chosen drive-through for pickup. The guy says, "Oh, you have to come inside." Excuse me? I ordered on the app and I said drive-through. Yeah, you got to come inside. Great. Okay, whatever. I come inside and wait another 15 so minutes before someone helps me, and come to find out, oh, they don't have any more chicken patties.
Oh.
So wasted almost an hour. You know, I'm exaggerating a little here, but you know, it was like 30 to 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes, somewhere in that range, you know, of my time when it could have just been I wasted 15 to 20 minutes to be told at the window they don't have it. So that was just a whole ordeal. And today I went out there and got a sandwich and made myself a breakfast chicken sandwich, which was really good. A nice fried egg on top with some bacon. It paired very well with a spicy chicken sandwich.
I mean, we knew that because we used to do that all the time.
Of course. But, you know, I wanted to make a video out of it. So I made a video out of it.
It works.
It works. It was delicious and it was fun. So that was my week.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we get into our topic for today. An hour into the show.
Well, we had 3 people.
That is
yeah,
true.
it's going to take a little while. Plus,
True.
we all had a lot to talk about.
Yeah. But the question we've posed today is: are tutorials getting harder? Now, this is actually one that Kegan mentioned, so I'm gonna let him run on with it first.
Yeah. So, what do you mean by are tutorials getting harder?
I guess the first question is, are they giving you a tutorial? Because
That's also true.
it's because they're the most notable thing most notable example I can think of is Risk of Rain compared to like Enter the Gungeon.
Okay.
Enter the Gungeon has a tutorial in the first place, but when you boot up Risk of Rain and start playing, they say nothing, and are there just like, okay, here you go die at least 3 or 4 times and hope something happens.
I think part of that is the game design.
That's
Because some games purposely do that to you, like a Souls game. You know, they give you a very basic tutorial on like buttons and how you attack. And that's it. Then they're like, here you go.
Well, good luck. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, part of it might be because the kind of game, and then other parts might be like because they just felt like it. But
so what would you consider a hard tutorial?
I kind of feel like it'd be like they give you controls, and then like they try to encourage you to do something in the tutorial that like with your skill level at the time, suggesting you haven't played before or haven't seen videos, would seem like something that like you'd be using later on in the game as like an upgrade, like learning how to jump, and then a couple minutes later learning how to like double jump off a wall with a very specific item to then slide into something else, if that makes sense.
Okay, so like new abilities that they're teaching you. Would you consider a tutorial getting harder in this day and age because they're throwing too much at you to start off with. So versus something like the original, well, it's probably not the best comparison because Mario tutorials are quite ingenious. But like, you know, in the original Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, they teach you all you need to know in that first level, you know, how to hit a block.
Right.
And how to jump on an enemy, how to jump over an enemy. And they don't specifically tell you, they teach you by doing.
Well, they also tell you in the manual, in the instruction manual, it does tell you this is how these are the buttons and what you do. So like it's a reinforcement. So there is a tutorial, it's just not in game. It's in the manual.
Sure.
Which Kegan, you probably don't even know the joys of getting a game and then driving, having to ride home in the car and all you can do is read the manual.
Man, one of the last manuals I remember reading on the drive home was Gran Turismo.
Car?
Me and your dad went out with your grandma to Toys R Us. We bought the game, and grandma had to stop at the bank. And me and your dad were sitting in the car reading the manual.
Yep.
It's like one of the last ones I remember actually, reading like that. But yeah, that with how in depth and how control heavy games are these days, and a lack of a manual, a tutorial's job is a lot more important.
Yeah,
I feel like it's more in depth.
Yeah, it's got to be. So like game design would probably have to change a little bit in that, it has to be more of a search action type of game, like a Metroid, where you only learn the basics at first because that's all you can do.
Right.
And you don't get these new abilities till later on where they can then feed you a tutorial on how to use that new ability.
Yeah. Kind of depends on like how much you already know at the time or like what you're capable of doing, kind of.
So I was actually just getting ready to say that. It's like you've got, at this point in the world of games, right? There are a lot of people that are coming into video games, a brand new video game to them with actual basic knowledge of how to play the game because they've saw someone play it. They've gone on YouTube. They've done research or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I feel that there are far less people going into a game blind.
I would say so these days. With, like you said, with watching videos, streaming, or like video on demand, like on YouTube or something, or even just watching siblings or parents or friends play the game, on the couch. Just going into it these days, you have some sort of familiarity. Stumbling over my own words.
Like I said.
Okay, another pause.
Suspense,
But yeah, so like they have some sort of knowledge going in. If you're interested in playing said game, it's probably harder to find someone who doesn't have some sort of knowledge of how like even something basic would work. Like if you were to hand a controller to, I don't know, let's say someone Kegan's age or younger,
Maris.
and tell them, well, maybe you tell them, okay, I want you to make this character jump. I bet you more than anything, like let's say 90% of the time, they will hit the right button because they just know that's the button to jump.
Yeah.
Because of the way that games are designed. Though what may throw a wrench into that is something like a Nintendo console, because they refuse to do the button layout as what I guess the general consensus is now, with your X or your A button being the main button. And that's going to be on the bottom of your plus. Whereas on Nintendo, it is on the right.
I mean, Japan, PS4s and 3s and 2s.
Well, yeah, they were that way for a while too. Yeah.
So, I mean, just with the PS5 is when they finally
switched over. Well, because
over.
Japan was the only place doing that.
Yeah.
Sony of Europe, Sony of America, and any of the other specific locales, their button layout on the controller, well, the physical controller was the same. Yeah. It was menu specific.
Right, the menu and the what button does what.
Yeah. Your most bottom button was your accept button.
Your yes.
Your main button. Yes.
Which, if you think about it, the way that it's built and the way that the controller looks, it's not correct, because accept is almost never X. It's always a circle.
That's why Japan did it that way. Circle is, yes, and X is no.
It makes more sense.
And what was it? Triangle was menu, and square was like
no, so square's menu.
Square's menu. Triangle was, oh shoot, what did that mean? It was triangle. I can't remember what triangle was now.
I don't remember either, and I'm not even going to look it up. I don't even remember. But square was definitely menu because square menu.
Right. I don't. Yeah, but they had meanings. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if tutorials are getting harder, more as it's getting harder for tutorials to explain the game effectively.
I think that's partly it too. Yeah. Is they are getting harder to explain, how to play the game.
Right, because there's like in some games, like let's put an Assassin's Creed game, right?
There's so many, combat things that you have to worry about.
That's the thing is, if you've never played an Assassin's Creed game in your life, right? There are some basic, almost like things you should know from playing the game that they're assuming, right? They'll tell you like what each individual button does, which is fine and great, but then there are combinations of buttons that you're just like, they roll by and it says press this and this to do this. Oh, okay. You do it once, but then you don't have to do it again for another 30 minutes. Or you don't have to do it again until the next time you play, and then you come back and go, how did I do that again? I mean, I found that with Horizon Forbidden West. I would, they show me something on how to do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. And then I don't have to use it for another hour and a half, and I've forgotten it. So I have to go back into the menu, right? The tutorials menu, and go, what was this again? How did I do that?
I mean, it's a good thing that they even have that in the first place.
Well, I think it's that at this point with games, you have to have that tutorial menu to be able to go back and look, because there's just so many things that you can do button combination wise that are not all the time uses.
At some point, we're going to have like platformer games that require Street Fighter combinations of buttons to get across pits.
I mean, there are games that are like that. Where you basically got to do like a little combo just to perform a specific move to traverse somewhere.
Right. I mean, at that point though, it's also I mean, you're hyperbolic, but you're saying something of like to you get across this gap, you have to do like a down to forward dash, a high kick. That would be a little excessive, but we're not terribly far from that.
No,
I mean, look at some of the way that Smash, runs, plays. There is the double jump. Then there's an up A, up B, and then after that, sometimes some characters can double jump again or something like that. Like
I know Pikachu zips and Jigglypuff puffs and
those
Kirby puffs. That's it.
I think, is it Link? It's either Link or Toon Link, where the up jumps up but then slams down or something.
Yeah. Well,
So you just,
no.
like,
So Kirby does that too. Kirby
Oh,
has
it's
that
Kirby.
little
There's some.
uppercut thing, and then he goes down. So if you do it right, you can puff up and then get to the right spot, then uppercut and land on the stage. No.
Right.
Or you just totally miss and you're screwed.
Yeah,
And you
it's
whiff
either
and
it's either you hit or you miss.
Yeah, that's.
But then again, at least I
It's
never
really-
miss.
Not a whole lot of in betweens on that.
You hit or miss, but I never miss. I
What are
play
you,
a
dead
lot.
shot?
Hi-yo.
I never miss.
I was planning on going through with my joke, but I decided not to. I decided against it.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
okay.
go ahead.
No,
Go for it.
We're all
it's not a-
ears.
not one that would make sense fully.
Uh-huh. You know, the best jokes are the one you have to explain.
Right?
I feel like that's the opposite of what, but I don't know.
That was my joke.
So, to explain that,
Anyways,
See, there's this thing called humor.
humor and there's
That's-
timing. We have none of it.
we
just
have no
talk.
comedic timing.
No,
but
we just talk and beat the dead horse until someone eventually laughs.
Oh, so I found a series of videos where it's just two guys telling dad jokes again. They're face to face,
Yeah,
and
they've done that for a few people. Have done that where like the first one to laugh like loses or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
I need to go and write a bunch of those down because
some of them are good, man.
some of them are really good, and some of them I feel Genevieve would appreciate very well or not appreciate very well, and I could be like, yes.
Just
You
go,
could-
ugh.
You could know how I feel.
Right, yeah. See, and then I give you the list of jokes, and then you can tell Genevieve on a daily basis.
Right?
You could be like, I'm gonna be your wake up alarm. Hey, did you know?
Did you know that 47% of Americans are American?
Da-da ching.
Or like, what do you call a cow with two legs?
Ground beef.
Lean beef.
Haha. Or a priest, a rabbi, and somebody else. I forget the third one. They walk into a bar.
Ouch.
Right. Ouch. Or the other one. Or the other one is a priest and a rabbi walk into the bar.
The bar.
The
says
other
out.
guy ducks.
I like the why was the baby strawberry sad?
Why was the baby strawberry sad?
Because his parents were in the jam.
Womp,
Wah,
womp.
wah. That's our dad joke section for the podcast.
Probably a good place to stop
Yeah.
before we keep going.
At this point,
Should we,
people are
though?
like, ugh, all right.
Who wants to
Yeah,
listen
they've
to
already-
us talk? I don't know.
They've already turned off.
They
They
heard
already
dad
left.
jokes. They heard dad.
Only the parents are just allowed to stay, apparently.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Well, they're like, man, keep going. I want to hear this dad
I'm writing these
joke.
down.
Write these down.
Why
What did you say about the rabbi?
Who's rabbi? What?
Why not? And
Alright.
why didn't the marshmallows make it to the ice cream store?
Why didn't the marshmallows make it to the ice cream store?
Because of the rocky road.
Hi-oh.
I like that one. That's good.
I came up with that
Alright.
one on the car ride.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today. If you haven't yet subscribed to the dotEXE podcast. Did you enjoy today's discussion? Let us know. Send your comments, questions, topics, and corrections to .exe@savingcontent.com. Or you can leave a comment at Saving Content on Twitter and Facebook. Saving Content is also on YouTube, so subscribe for video previews, reviews, trailers, and original content like this here podcast, .exe. Are you looking for more gaming discussions? Well, then go check out Saving Content's Quick Save podcast with Evan and Scott, and I'm pretty sure I remember getting a
They are
Evan
back.
is live. Yeah, I did not get to listen to that because it was
Yep.
late, but
They are on episode 50. New artwork and everything.
ooh,
Chef's kiss. It is beautiful.
Mwah.
awesome. So I'll have to listen to that in my rotation. Remember to also visit savingcontent.com for the latest news and reviews. Ed, what is up?
we got a busy week of stuff. So my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge review went out. That is a very, very good game, and I think if you have the means to get it, you should get it, whether it's purchase or in Game Pass. It is definitely a fun game to play. Neon White, Evan did a review of that one, and then Scott did a review of Redout 2, which I believe Redout is kind of like the Wipeout series, just a different developer type of thing. And some guy named Kegan reviewed Soundfall for us. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know that guy.
Yeah.
He's a stranger to me.
Black sheep of the Saving Content family.
What?
Well, before we go, we only ask one tiny favor: a 5-star review. You can do it right in your podcast app. Finally, don't forget to tell your friends about us here at dotEXE. It'll help us grow, and we'd really appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Yeah, the audience, talking to the audience.
Yes.
Thank you for listening, and remember, the most wasted of days is one without laughter. Good night.
Nighty night.
Meow.
All right.